And welcome to Endless Legend. Endless Legend is from Amplitude Studios, the makers of Endless Space and Dungeon of the Endless. And Endless Legend is their latest product. It is a little bit of a, kind of a departure, I guess, from Endless Space. I don't know if you can really call it a departure if Endless Space and Dungeon of the Endless are technically different products, but what Endless Legend is, and I hate to say it, I'm very sorry, I'm sure Amplitude's probably getting a heck of a lot of comparisons to Civilization, because essentially that's what it is. It's an incredibly well done Civilization clone, but also mixed with a lot of what makes Endless Space pretty great, which is a lot of the customization and a lot of the depth that you get. So it kind of takes the Civilization motif and expands on it significantly. Plus, it's a pretty damn good-looking game. So here we are at the main menu, and you have a couple options. There's of course a tutorial, which is separate from the rest of the the game operations. You can start a new game, load one, join one for multiplayer with other people online. Mods are not quite available yet. Options, and then games together, which is Amplitude Studios kind of gaming community. But what I wanted to do is actually start a series of Endless Legend videos as I play, just so we can kind of get a feel for the game and also to see exactly how far I can get on this. So essentially, I'm going to start a new game. Now the setup is pretty in depth. We've got a lot of the things that you expect from a world conquest game such as this. You can set the number of empires. I'm going to set it down to 3, simply because that allows me to, kind of roll around a lot on the map without having to worry about, accidentally being placed next to an enemy that rolls over me in round 10. Difficulty actually goes all the way from newbie to endless, which, for all intents and purposes, is I'm not going anywhere near endless. Essentially, this has to do with, I guess, AI difficulty, other things like that. I'm just going to set it to easy just because I like a nice, relatively leisurely game. Game speed is normal, so it says here population growth rate, dust accumulation, research speed. Custom factions, apparently you can come in and you can mess around with the factions themselves to make custom factions, and if you check this and you play multiplayer, it advises you that you might not want to do that because people have fine-tuned their factions for their own play style, which may or may not cause you, with your stock faction, a whole lot of grief. So we're going to leave that off, even though we're just playing alone. Advanced settings, however, this is when we start getting into deeper game settings. The pace, we can actually set it for time turns, so if you're actually playing multiplayer, you can actually kick somebody in the butt to ensure that they're not just sitting around with their thumb up their nose, taking their time to figure out what they're going to do. Again, doesn't really matter, it's just me, so we're going to leave that off. The battle pace. Now, one of the differences you'll see in this from regular Civ is that there are real-time battles. You can actually get into little tactical battles. So if you were doing multiplayer on this, again, you could set this to limit the amount of time people have to make their decisions. The victory conditions, self-explanatory. Diagnostics, this is where you can come in here and set up some information should this game crash that you can pass off to Amplitude. We're just going to do that alone. So we're going to leave everything as is. We're going to back up a level. So that was the game settings, but for the world map, what you can do is you can set the world size. So it tells you essentially what how many players the map is good for. We're going to do a normal, even though it says 6 and we're only doing 3. That should give us, 50%, twice as much leg room for each faction to occupy. And you can set the world shape to a whole lot of different settings, continents, islands, one huge continent, which we'll set. Continent shape, I haven't messed with this too much. We're just going to leave it at regular for now. The temperature, this actually has a lot to do with the resources you get and the things that you can actually do in the game. But we're going to leave it temperate for now. Topography, again, if you really like hills, when you start getting into combat, you get height advantage, so you can actually give yourself advantage or disadvantage overall, but we're going to leave that average. And world difficulty, how difficult it is to get around the world. So we'll just leave that at normal and check with the advanced settings. So here in the for the world shape, we left it as Pangaea, which is the one large single continent. So you can actually set the land percentage. 70% of the map is going to be land, which is okay. One continent, some islands, which will probably be outside on the periphery, which we don't really care about. Sea around the edges, yes, of course, since we're one continent. The world wrap, apparently this allows you to exit one side and come around to the other. And you get both hemispheres, so you get to determine whether you're dealing with a gradation from warm to cold or from cold to warm back to cold. So we're going to leave hemispheres both. Continent shape, regular. Continent spread, if we were doing more than one continent, this would actually be relevant. Region size, you can actually, I guess, preset the number of the size of regions that you can actually get going. As far as the topography goes, how the map is situated, you get, let's see, lake odds. We don't really care much about lakes, average rivers, ridges, and cliffs. World difficulty, so Empire Spawn. This is going to be, let's see, an average distance from each other on the game map. So what we're going to do, let's see, we can spread as far from each other as possible so they can be on the opposite sides of the continent. Ideal FIDS placement. Let's see. The FIDS is going to be, that's their resource acronym. Chaotic means near or far. But tell you what, let's put them on spread. And let's see, strategic resources. Normal, that's fine. Luxury resources, those are fine. Anomaly, that's fine. World generation seed and seed values. So if we wanted to set a random seed, hey, what? Let's go to user and we'll just do, let's see, 8675309, of course. And then we'll hit apply and we'll see what Jenny gives us as far as a continent goes. So once you're done with this, your game settings here, you can actually come over here and you can select an empire. The empire summary here changes based on the summary that you give, for the faction you select. You can select from the pull downs here to select one for yourself. You can also select a specific one for your enemies. You can also change the color for people who are into that kind of thing. You can, at the bottom of the empire summary, you actually get to see information on the empire itself. So you can actually come in here and check out all of the different kinds of the factions, what gives them the unit types that they can produce, and all of the traits. And if you hover over the trait, it gives you information on what it does for you. And down here at the bottom, you can actually click Add to create a new faction. So this is where you would go ahead and you'd create a new faction, give it a name, change an affinity. I guess this is who you're most like. I haven't actually messed around with this, but it looks like we've got some points here, so we can actually use these points to buy different aspects of these. Whoops. Yeah, we don't want to do that. That was not good. Hopefully I didn't screw that up. I didn't save it, so that's okay. So you can actually come in and take a look at all of the different people, the different factions that they have. And they actually have a lot of good, really good artwork, a lot of good, interesting factions. So we'll just hit cancel. So let's see, we're going to come in here, and I like the Vaulters. I played them last time when I got my butt kicked. Here, the session information mode, single only. You want to make sure that this is set. So single only, friends only multiplayer. So people in your Steam list will be able to join the session. And public multiplayer, which means anybody can see and join your game. I'm not entirely sure how that works. You'll probably see that through the multiplayer. Actually, let's go take a look. Let's see, we can join a game. So here is our browser. So it looks like all of 4 people actually have public games going. This one here, fast free-for-all, all welcome, in turn 61. So that's interesting. You can allow or disallow custom factions, timers. Let's see. The version that I have installed is different from that one. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Okay, so let's see, for turn, end battle. So you can see what's going on, and this is some the map information for if that's what you want. So we're gonna go back. We're gonna select. We'll just leave everything default. Hit the Vaulters, and we'll start. So you get all this wonderful artwork. One of the interesting things about this game is that, unlike regular straight-up Civ, it actually gives you a story. So when you're playing single player, you will actually have quests that you can complete, and you can move the story along. So hopefully the world will get generated, and we'll be able to get started. I don't know how long we'll be going for, but let's see, we've been going for 12 minutes for the introduction and the setup. So maybe we'll run for at least another, I don't know, 15 minutes.
Our legend spoke of a great journey beneath the stars. Safe in our halls and minds, we ignored these old tales. But then the great quake cracked our halls open, revealing ancient secrets and relics. These unknown relics carried our patterns, our images, hints of a hidden past. We took them and fled the destruction, seeking a new life on the surface. Now the legends and relics of our past show the way to our future. The journey will be dangerous, sometimes deadly, but we go forth without fear or ignorance. For courage and knowledge are the bywords of the Vaulters.
Okay, so each faction that you get has a little intro that you go through, and it actually kind of explains their backstory and gives you a little bit of information, kind of what you're angling for. So here we are at the this is the map screen. So like Civ, you can actually get hexes overlaid with the materials that are available in those hexes, as well as their abundance. You can turn that on and off as you see fit. Here's our settler, our initial, who is Petrov Judith III. She's a hero that we get, but when you start off, you get a hero who is essentially your initial settler. So we have to move her around to get her to find a place to set up our initial city. This right here, when you hover over, these are ruins. Again, as you go, these would be akin, I guess, to villages and things like that in Civ, where you could actually get near them and claim whatever's in them, if there's anything in them at all. But it actually tells you here on the sidebar that these are unspoiled ruins with a graphic and description, and basically it gives you the information on what this particular hex will grant to you once it's inside your control. So let's see, you start off with just this much, and where are we going to go? So let's turn on our our FIDS. That's what this is called. The FIDSy. What is FIDS? Okay. Sorry, I'm just going to jump through here. Food, industry, science, dust, and influence. That's what FIDS stands for. So we're going to turn that on. We're going to see where we can go. So right up here on this plateau, we've got 6 food. That's pretty good. Down here, we also have 6 food. But because we want to keep the high ground, I'm thinking we probably want to simply just build it here. So before we do that, however, let's take a look at the interface. Up here is our main, behind the fraps numbers, up here is our main toolbar. This is where we get all of our data from. It also has our dust, which is our currency. If you played Endless Space, you'll recognize dust being a common currency, which tells you that dust and Endless Space probably take place in the same continuum. So dust is our currency, how much we have on hand, how much we're using per turn. Research. This is our influence, which we use to, once we start looking at the minor factions, influence is important to get them to absorb those minor factions that we are friendly with. Down here we have our hero. She is, you can see that she's a hero and she's good at ranged attacks. And she's of the faction, the Volter faction, which is the one we chose. When you find other villages and you absorb them into your empire, basically you can then build their units. So you can actually get the benefit of someone else's potentially superior units by absorbing their culture into yours. Her attributes and her capacities, and if we were to look at her information here, we could actually see what these attributes, what these capacities do for her. We're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here in the hero inspection, so we're just gonna get out of that for now. She's unassigned, meaning she's just kind of rolling around right now. Like Endless Space and even Civ, once you get a hero or an important person, you can assign them certain tasks. But right now we don't have a task to assign her to. We don't even have a city. Here is our actions. This will be where you deal commands to your units, as well as eventually this will morph into what we can build in our city. So we want to keep an eye on that. We can essentially have Judith walk around the map randomly, exploring. We can have her found the city. We can have her set to defend, and then once we have armies set up, we can split them. We can transfer them, and the Volters have a teleport. I believe it's the Volters. They have a teleport ability where we can actually move them between cities. And here's our essentially our army. So we do actually have a settler. They're all kind of junked together with Judith here. It says unassigned, but I believe she's kind of the de facto commander for this particular representation. So we have a settler and 2 Marines. We can select all. They're already selected. We can disband this army if we really wanted to. But this also gives us our health points, our movement points, and how far we can see. So this vision is how far you'll clear out this fog of unexplored area when they're out and about. And just like in Endless Space, a lot of times these panels are sizable. You can click them, so if you had a really huge army, you could actually click this up to see more information. So down here we have this little widget, and what this does is it shows us how many armies still have moves left for this turn. This is our options. Here's our seasonal thing. Right now it is let's see, the current season's summer, and the next up is, I guess, winter. We have these values here. These represent the different factions that are in the game. So I don't know who the other 2 are, so there's just me. We don't have a world map, but if you zoom out all the way, this with your scroll button, this actually gives you this world map. And this apparently, I don't know what that does. So we can actually zoom in. We use the WASD keys to move around. This little widget down here hides and shows the resources. And when we're done, we just click right here in the big fat center, and this will end our turn. But we still haven't founded our city yet. So we're going to go ahead and do that right here. So we need to select the location to found our city, and as you can see, it's actually a, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 hex sprawl. So we are right here where we want it to be, so we're just going to drop it down. So, oh god, the haunts. These are the guys that killed me last time. So what we did is we expanded our influence, which opened up our area, and that allowed us to basically find the haunts. Here, when you encounter new factions or sub-factions, minor factions in this case, you'll get a picture of them, you'll get a little bit of a blurb, essentially some information on their units, and then some of their benefits that you would get if you assimilated them. So you can click on show location to see exactly where they are. So they're right here, they're really close to the border. They're not really nice people. So unfortunately, we're going to have to step up immediately and start fortifying our town. So now what we do have is Merowyn. This is the town, and as you can see, we have 5 food, 4 science, 1 influence, 1 dust, and 1 industry. So when we select our town here, we can select essentially one of these, one of the hexes on the periphery. We get a little bit of more information. So here we have our town demographic, our city demographics. We got the name. We can rename it if we want. We have no trade routes. We basically, this little icon right here, we don't have, this would be where our assimilated, once we find some other minor factions to assimilate, they'll start sending people to essentially live in our city to give us a boost in production and things. This is essentially, our city info, this whole area here. So we've got a 60% approval rating. We have a whopping 1 person representative. We're going to get these are the effects that are going on. So essentially, we'll get these effects, I believe, in 4 turns. Right now, we're using up 10 dust per turn, and then we get this bit of info here. So this is we can collapse this, or we can show this, and this is how we actually allocate people. In the early civilizations, we'd actually drag people around the map, but here you use this little headshot here, and you can move him between areas to set up whatever it is that you want. Right now, we kind of need food to grow, so we're going to leave this one guy here. It tells you here that production per worker, we get 4 food, 4 industry, 4 science, 4 dust, and 2 influence. So if we move him out of here, we're going to lose 4, more or less. So we get, we're going to keep him here. We get how much we're getting from city tiles, and any modifiers that are in effect because of the people we have in the city, or because of our faction. So we can actually go ahead and we can browse our cities, as well as the improvements that we've got going on, which we don't, but we will, because down here are the expansions you can actually queue for construction here in the city. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the Founders Memorial, because this gives bonuses to essentially all production. So we just click it and it goes into the queue. Next up, we're going to throw in 2 Marines, because we're going to need them, and we don't have enough yet to create a settler, and we're not going to salt the earth. So right now we have 3 items in the queue. This is how many rounds it's going to take to generate this. And if we really wanted to, once we're getting closer, we can actually spend dust to hurry it along. Now, we've got Judith, who is here in the city. You can see her hanging out here in the middle of the city with a crossbow. And we don't really have anybody, a hero assigned here, so what we're going to do is we're going to select her, and we're going to assign her to the city. She's the governor, and actually we can have her deal with our, actually, you know what, deal with our generation. I'm not entirely sure I want to do that. Actually, you know what we're going to do? Let's see. So here we're going to select. Let me see if I can get a... Yeah, we're going to take her out. Oh, we can't take her out. Let's see if we can... See if we can get her out, because last time I got my butt kicked, but I suspect that if I keep her with the army, I'll probably have a lot better time. Let's see, I gotta figure out how to get her off this job. Oh, wait, was it in there? Missing resource, show obsolete. And no. So let's check out our, I guess let's check out our additional menu. So here's our Empire Management screen. This is this shows our faction. So here's the vaulters. Here's what we get for all of our bonuses. This is what we have in our treasury. So we're earning 14 dust and we have 50. We have 1 influence point per turn. We have none. Our empire approval and our empire status. Assimilated minor factions is where we'll be adding. I'll be right back. The phone's going off. All right, we're right back. I have to let the dog in now. All right, so this is the fun of being married. Okay, what we were looking at here. So the assimilated minor factions. When you run into a minor faction and you convince them to join your cause, after you complete a quest for them, you'll be able to assimilate them here, assuming you can pay the influence cost. And once you do that, then you'll have access to some of their units and some of their benefits. So strategic resources, luxury resources, these are points around the map that you will build upon and control, which will give you certain benefits. Stockpiles are, let's see, storage to boost your empire or cities with food or industry. So essentially hovering over anything in this game gives you information on what it does. The empire plan, now this is an interesting little thing that you get every 5 turns, I believe, or I'm sorry, 20 turns. You get the opportunity to spend whatever influence you have to build this graph. So what you have here is you will be able to place a point essentially by clicking in a direction, and every time you click you will use up whatever influence, a certain amount of influence that you have on hand, and you'll build one of these graphs. You may have seen them in business school or what have you, but you can trend your empire towards more military, towards more economy, towards more influence, or towards more science and industry. So that's how you kind of build your industry, your empire towards a particular type of construction or a particular type of focus. So trade routes, we don't have any, and these are all of your empire bonuses. So the status screen here is all your charts, for those of you who really like charts. It's just me, so we haven't really actually made a turn, so we're not going to be able to see a lot going on with that. Here we have our these are the cities list. We've only got one, but it gives us our name and all of our information that we need when it's construction. So once we start getting a lot of cities, this will be more important. The research. Now the research, you have several different circles that you can actually go ahead and deal with, but you need to be able to, you have to unlock a certain number of items in a particular circle before you have access to the next one. So here we have split into the 4 different sections of the military, the science and industry, empire and expansion, and economy and population. Now these circles, out of these circles, anything that's ringed in green is something that we haven't learned. Anything that's ringed in blue is something that we have learned. So essentially each of these shows you here on the icon what it's essentially producing. Here you have, for example, this is an army action. It's got a little fist, but it's got a little word balloon. So it's parlay and bribe. So this is what we really need to start with, because this is what will allow us to go ahead and deal with a lot of these minor factions that we'll run into. So we can start queuing these things up for a lot of different things. Seed storage, food's always good. Once you start clicking more than one, you'll get these little badges on them that show you the sequence. Mill foundry we need because that generates some of the gears that we need. And let's see, we'll probably need to go ahead and research the Dawn officer because he's kind of a badass, and we'll need to, we'll just leave it at that. List of quests, we don't have any right now, but you actually do get quests from around the map as well as your main quest. Your heroes right now, if you played on this space, this is familiar to you. Right now we just have Judith here, and we looked at her briefly earlier. So you can actually go ahead and customize your heroes here. So you get a little bit of a biography. They gain XP, some other demographics about them. What's interesting though is you can actually buy them gear. So as you can see here, she's got a tier 1 crossbow, a lot of tier 1 arms and armor here. But you can go ahead and once you research it and build it, you can actually equip these guys, your heroes, with special stuff. So right now she doesn't have any of these special items down here. Let's see, she can get a ring, which costs us 10 industry, improved vision and sharp sense, or we can get her this talisman, which is improved movement, if we really wanted to. So you can come in here and you can actually, you know, tweak your characters, your heroes, to make them more badass. We mentioned capacities earlier, so these are the benefits that each of them get, and each hero has their own skill tree. So once you get going, when they earn experience to get up to the next level, you'll be able to customize your heroes here in the skill tree. So let's see, that was the heroes, and we've got army and unit management. So right now we have a settler and a marine design, but we can actually go ahead and we can, let's see, we'll deal with the marine for right now. So here's our marine, and again, he's the marine is, I believe this is just a template to start with. We can go ahead and we can upgrade with gear. So if you've played, oh man, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. The one from Stardock there. Fallen Enchantress. Yes, this is very much like what you get out of Fallen Enchantress. So you can actually equip them with gear, which gives them certain benefits. Let's see. Yes, we're sure we don't want to do any of that. So here's our list of our armies in our nation, and our designs that we'll be able to get as we unlock them, or if we assimilate minor factions, their unit designs will also show up here, so we can actually tweak stuff that we have absolutely no control over. I have yet to get to the diplomatic interface yet. I'm not entirely sure what this means. I guess means you've got a bond, you got peace. Oh, here it is. Cold War, and then outright war. So you see these little figures here off in the distance. They're shrouded, indicating that we don't know who they are, but I'm assuming once we figure out who they are, they'll get put onto this board, and they'll move in and out accordingly, and we'll be able to interact with them here once we start opening diplomatic ties with them. So we're back on the map, and essentially we've got notifications over here. This is where the notifications live, so we've already seen this. We've located the haunts. We're going to dismiss that, and that's going to go away. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to end our turn, since we've done pretty much nothing. Oh, actually we were trying to unassign our hero, but I think we have to wait another turn. So, okay, so we are going to end turn number 1. And turn 2 is going to... Okay, so here's where our story comes in. Turn 2. So we get our quest. In this particular quest, there's apparently some robotic guy who we've taken in and helped out. So what he wants us to do, is in a region that belongs to the Empire, pacify a village, and then assimilate them. So essentially, all this assimilation stuff I've been talking about, this is what he wants us to do. And then we have to get titanium. We get titanium as a reward, which is used in the crafting aspect to actually build some of the things that we can put on our heroes and our units. So we've automatically accepted it. We don't really have much of a choice. This is our story. So we're going to dismiss it. Once we have a quest going on, though, it does show up up here in the corner. So you always know what you're angling towards. Now, I don't see any minor factions instantly available, so we're going to have to hold off on that. Let's see. Okay, so this hero is locked for 4 turns and cannot be unassigned. So Judith's got to hang out here in town, and that's fine, because right now in the town we have 2 units of militia. All towns are granted 2 units of militia, I believe. So this is your defense against anybody who wants to come and knock on your door. And I think that is pretty much it. Let's see. We have some Marines here, which we're going to actually just move over here, because these haunts, if these guys come out, it's going to be kind of a pain in the butt. So we're just going to actually have them camp here. And that actually will do it for today. We're going to leave it here. Spent a lot of time talking about the user interface. We're already 40 minutes, which is my fault for having getting up. But I'm going to leave the game here. I'm going to leave it alone. Next time we get a chance to play, we will continue from this point. So I'm going to actually end up putting all of these on YouTube as well as continuing to stream the session. So if you can catch it live, fantastic. I'm on chat. You can come over here, and if you come into the YouTube collection, however, you can find me at twitch.tv/levelcappedtv, or you can find me on Hitbox TV at hitboxtv/levelcapped, and you can watch live. I don't really have a set schedule right now, but you can follow me on Twitter at Scopique, SCOPIQUE, and you can get updates as when I go live. So thanks for watching, and hopefully I'm not going to get my ass handed to me this time again, although those haunts on my doorstep is that's pretty concerning. So thanks for watching.